Hello and welcome to Mind for Success. I am your host, Kimberly Lebbing, and today we're going to be talking about celebrating success and how to keep moving forward even when you feel like you're not getting ahead. So again, my name is Kimberly Lebbing. Really quick about me. I work with ambitious, heart-centered entrepreneurs who want to expand their capacity to have it all in their business, both in their business success and in their personal life by bridging neuroscience-based tools with targeted intuition for lightning fast results. So let's get right to our topic today about celebrating success and how to keep moving forward even when you feel like you're not getting ahead. Have you ever been there? So what if you're a successful entrepreneur, you most likely have some big aspirations, some big goals for your business, but sometimes the steps in getting there, maybe they take longer, maybe there's some things that show up that you weren't expecting, and it can feel like you're spinning your wheels, chasing your tail, and you're not where you thought you would be in your business because maybe some things take longer than you thought they would. There's all kinds of reasons that can bring about these feelings. And what I want to do today is I want to break down the emotions, the deeper reasoning behind that. And I also want to give you some real success tools that you can use to help move you forward and break through that cycle. Because it is a cycle. It's a subconscious program that's running. And sometimes because we're in it and we don't really see it, we're not looking at it from this bigger, deeper view, it can really get in the way of us moving forward in our businesses. And we're going to talk a lot at the end about how to flip this around into celebration rather than what we sometimes do, which is beat ourselves up. So I first want to talk about some of the emotions and that goes along with this. Some of the emotions that can play into the things that slow us down and stop us in our tracks. So a lot of times when these things happen, when we wish that we were at one point, or we think we should be, and should, if you've ever listened to any of my episodes, the fact that we have this I should be here, should is a guilt word. It's a big telltale sign to me, and should be for yourself if you're listening to this, that there's some guilt at play there. And when there's guilt at play, when guilt is coming into your business and your actions, it can and will affect the way you do your business. It will affect your personal relationships. It will affect your behavior, your decisions, all the things, and it can really slow you down. So the first thing I want to say is be aware of that word should whenever you use it, even if it's silently in your head and you're not saying it out loud. So when we do this, we end up with guilt, which I just mentioned. Sometimes it can be really frustrating. Shame, and this leads to slowing us down and sometimes stopping us in our tracks. So the way this sometimes plays out and some of the deeper reasons, that's what I want to go into, some of the deeper reasons behind it. Because what we really want is to move forward. We want to move forward and feel like we're making traction. We want to move forward without hesitation, and we want to feel like we're getting ahead and accomplishing our goals. Are you with me? So when we instead go into guilt cycles or frustration, it keeps us cycling in a loop subconsciously, and it affects all of our decisions and our behavior and even our energy that we show up in, and how we interact with people, which can turn people off and actually repel them from you, which will affect your bottom line and how you bring in clients and customers into your business. So let's talk about some of these deeper reasons behind some of the things that we do that can really hold us back from moving forward. So the first one I mentioned, and that's guilt. Shame is closely related. And when there's guilt present, some of the things that show up, and I was talking with a business owner earlier today, and this was something that was happening for her. So guilt was showing up. She was saying yes to more things than she should, not delegating. And then what was happening is the frustration. I'm not getting ahead. So it's a little bit of people pleasing that happens. And the deeper reason behind that guilt and that frustration for her is unworthiness or not feeling like you're enough. And when I identified that, I want you to think about this because I think it's true for a lot of people. When you really dig in and do the work and find that deeper reason, let's say it's unworthiness, it spirals into so many different areas when it comes to your business. You may get resistance from your spouse. Your spouse may not be as supportive because you are putting, and I'm not saying it's your fault, but because you're feeling unworthy of the business or the money that you're making or even your time, then your spouse picks up on that, or your support system, whoever it is, and they don't respect, or they also may be projecting guilt on you. Well, why don't you have this done? Or why isn't this done? Or why isn't that done? And some things like that can play out. So that's one aspect. So it can affect your relationships. It can also affect your boundaries with your employees, with your team. Same reason, same exact reason. It can play out and show different things. It will affect your ability to sell, your pricing. If you aren't feeling like you're enough, oh, let me give you an example. So I recently worked with a CEO who had this unworthiness coming up. Successful, very, very successful guy, but had this unworthiness coming up. And because of that, he was over proving himself, overworking, and doing way more than he needed to, and not delegating. He was delegating some. He was a successful CEO, but not delegating in all the areas that he could have been, because he was constantly trying to prove himself worthy. This was all being done subconsciously, under the surface, not even realizing it. And because of that, he burned through relationships. It caused all kinds of other problems for him in his personal life. Business was actually good, but it came at a really big cost. And my message to you today is you really can have both. You really can have both a successful business and successful relationships. And you have to get to the deeper reason behind the shoulds, behind the I want to be moving forward, but I'm not getting ahead. Like you've got to get behind those deeper reasons behind that thinking, because that thinking can slow you down and stop you. So now I want to get to what you really need to be able to move forward without hesitation and overwhelm. So one of the things that I talk with clients about, number one, get to the deeper reason. We already covered that. And you can do that. Like, it really takes some reflection on what is going on and noticing, oh, there's this thing I just did. And I'm going to give you a tool in a minute about how to even help you reverse that, to kind of reprogram the pattern that you have going on. And it's really helpful, and it's really simple and easy. So just know that when there's something deeper going on, it can lead to all kinds of other things. So that unworthiness can lead to not feeling enough, which will affect your pricing. It was all those other things. It can lead to people pleasing and guilt, which can affect your schedule and your time, because you're saying yes to more things than you need to be, and then you don't have any time left, and then you feel guilty, you feel resentful, and you're not getting where you want to be because you're taking care of everybody else, or you're not delegating the things out that you need to delegate out. So that's one thing. So do the deeper work. That's tip number one. Number two is make sure you have clear boundaries and clear expectations, both for yourself and for your team. And what I mean by that is, when you've identified, okay, I've got this pattern that I've been doing, what is a boundary? Actually, if you notice you're saying yes to stuff that you shouldn't be, or that you don't want to be saying yes to, that's interrupting and pausing your progress, then what's the boundary? What's the thing that you can do or say or put into action that would stop that pattern? And think about what that might be. Can you ask for help? Can you ask for support? Can you have some kind of accountability? What is it that you need that will help you move forward? And this is probably the biggest part. And I shared this in a group today. I share it with clients. At the end of the day, if you really want to break this cycle, celebrate. And that was the beginning of this broadcast, was, celebrate your progress, no matter what it is. And when we do this at the end of the day, it helps us. So subconsciously, I wanted to explain what's going on, because when you do this at the end of the day, it helps your subconscious mind look back and go, I did make progress. It's like feeding a dog a treat. It's like, here's subconscious, you did good. Great job. Give it a pat, and it will want to do it again the next day, especially when you do this at the end of the day. So celebrate, get in the habit of writing down at least 3 things, just 3 things, at least 3 things that went well that you can celebrate. And this is the key. So let's say things didn't go well and you didn't get anywhere and you feel like you're spinning your wheels. If that's the case, write down, what did you learn? When you write down what did you learn, it literally disrupts the pattern interrupt, it disrupts it, and it gives your subconscious mind a new way to look at things and a new possibility. Because otherwise, we end up in this loop, this vicious cycle loop that's just going on and replaying over and over and over again. And many times we're not even aware of it. When something as simple as writing down your celebrations for the day, 3 simple things, that can most certainly be more. I encourage you to do more if you can. But in the beginning, that might be a little bit, if you haven't done it before, it could be a little bit challenging. Write down your celebrations, write down what you learned, because that will tell your brain what to do differently, what the new possibility could be the next time that comes up. And then the next time it comes up, you may not quite be there yet, but you're going to start noticing it. Do the same thing over again. Write down your celebrations, write down your learnings. And if you keep doing this, by the third or fourth time, you're going to start taking different actions. You're going to start taking more actions towards your goals, towards the thing that you want. And your subconscious mind is going to be like, I am moving forward. Look what I did today. It's like giving that little dog a treat. So remember that as you are building your business, as you are bringing your business up to a new height, whatever that is for you, remember to celebrate where you are. It can be a personal celebration. It can be a business celebration. Maybe you needed to take some personal time. You recognized that you needed to step away, and you did. And that could be your celebration. It doesn't matter what it is, but I think noticing that you are intentional about the progress you're making and that you are showing your subconscious mind what it is that you want, showing the universe what you want, so that that is what comes into focus. And we all know that whatever you focus on, there's science behind this. There's also woo behind this. You get more of, you can talk, this is law of attraction. There's, so many different things, but I mean, the science of it is in your brain, you have the reticular activating system, which is the part of your brain that focuses on things. Most of the time, we're focused on the things that we don't want, which is how we started this episode, because we end up focusing on not getting ahead. And then we start going through, well, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, all the things you didn't do. And then you go into that guilt cycle and all those things that I mentioned in the beginning of this episode. So when you change the pattern to celebrate instead, it disrupts that. It helps your brain focus on the positives, the things that you want, and you get to move forward. So my encouragement today to you is to put this into practice. It's super simple. And of course, if you need any help at all, you can find me at kimberlylebbing.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, and on all the socials. Reach out to me, and I'd love to chat. Thanks for listening.